Hello! In this video, we're going to see how you can use anynines to take a backup for a PostgreSQL instance running in your Kubernetes cluster. So here on my laptop, I have a Kubernetes cluster provisioned with kind. Anynines is already installed. And as we can see now, there's also a PostgreSQL instance already running. Yep, there it is, called sample PG cluster. Moreover, now I'm going to run a small helper script that does nothing magic. It just shows what data is stored in the PostgreSQL instance. Show data inside PG. And we don't care that much about the actual content. The only thing I want to highlight that there is at least one table with at least one row. So there is some data inside our PostgreSQL instance and it's not empty. So given that we have this PostgreSQL instance with some data, how can we take a backup of it? And the answer is that we have to create an API object of a custom kind installed as part of anynines as a custom resource definition called backup. And in fact, if we look at the CRDs in our cluster, we should see that there's one called backups. And here it is. So let's actually write the YAML manifest for a backup API object, and let's apply it to the cluster. So here in my editor, I have such a YAML manifest. Notice how the kind is the custom backup kind that we define. And if we look at the spec, there's only one nested field called service instance. And what this nested field does is identifying the PostgreSQL instance for which the backup will be taken, right? And notice how the name is sample PG cluster, so the same as the instance that I have running on my cluster. And since there's no namespace specified, the namespace will be the default one, which is also the one where our PostgreSQL instance is running, which essentially means that once we'll apply this manifest, a backup for that specific PostgreSQL instance will be taken. Of course, if you had another one with another name, you change the name field here to take a backup for it. Another thing I want you to notice is that this field expresses the kind of the service instance to backup. Now, so far we only support PostgreSQL, but as we add more data services, the process to take backups for them will be exactly the same as the one you're seeing here. You would still write and then apply the YAML manifest for an API object of custom kind backup. The only thing that you would change would be the kind field here. So for example, if you want to take a backup for a Redis instance, you would write Redis here. So with all this being said, let's go ahead and apply the YAML manifest in the cluster to actually take the backup. kubectl apply file name backup.yaml. The command went through. And the next question is, how do we monitor our backup? How do we know if it completed successfully, if there have been failures? And the answer is that we can learn that by looking at the status of the backup. So let's do that. kubectl get bkp, the shorthand form for backup for convenience. Then the name of the backup sample, output YAML. Oops, there's a typo, sorry about that. And if we look at its status field, we can see that there's a list of conditions that inform us on how the backup is proceeding. This is really important because bear in mind that even if that's not the case in this example, if your database is big, the backup might take a very long time to complete. There might be interruptions and so on. However, here we see that the top condition is called complete and it's equal to true, which means that our backup successfully completed. And what this means concretely is that anynines performed the backup of our PostgreSQL instance and uploaded the backup files to a cloud storage of your choice. Now you might be wondering, well, how do I communicate my choice to the anynines control plane for the cloud storage? And the answer is that you do that when you install any8s, and of course you can change it afterwards. So if you go back to the second video in this series where we install any8s, you'll see that there we explain more in detail how you can configure where any8s upload the backups. So far we only support AWS S3, but we're in the process of adding more cloud storages. And also let us know in the comments if there's a cloud storage for backups that you would like us to support.